and welcome to another wonderful episode of Deep Answer. My name is Uyo Omani, and I have here Mr. Akin Aregbesola, who's going to be teaching us more about principles. You're welcome, Mr. Aregbesola.
Thank you.
All right, so I have loads of questions for you today. Let me start by asking, why is there poverty? I'm just quite inquisitive. We see it all around us. Why is there poverty?
Okay, so poverty is the default state of human. All right, just like even in creation and in the spiritual, the default state of things is darkness. All right, so when you come to be, the default, when I say default, I mean the normal situation that you meet is darkness. It takes work, effort to create light, to neutralize the darkness. So the equivalent state of darkness in the material is poverty. So it is a normal thing. Poverty is normal, it's the default state. So to get out of the default situation, you need to be able to create. You need to put in energy. You need to put in power. You create from power. All right? It is this power by the practice of principle that will elevate you from the default state to however much work you have been able to put in to lift you from the initial state to the new state that you have created for yourself. So even the rich, the wealthy, the prosperous, at one time, they also were in this default state and they had to work themselves out of that default darkness into light, which is, again, because we're always relating these things between material and spiritual. All right, so that's why there is poverty, because we are born into this default state, we just relax and we don't do anything. So poverty will remain in poverty. But as soon as we become conscious and begin to walk our way, begin to walk our way out of, we may not even know that we are walking our way out, but we begin to put in work into our lives, then we are changing from the default state. We're like swimming out of the depth of the default state into higher situations where we come into light more and more. Now, to relate this more to the spiritual, like I said, the default state in the spiritual is darkness, and that interprets in the material to poverty. The normal thing to do in the material to get out of poverty is to go get some education, learn some skill, do something that will provide you with job to get you out of that default state. So that by the work you do in acquiring education, in learning a skill, in learning a vocation, in developing a skill, you move yourself out of poverty into a level where at most you can become comfortable. All right, so by our own intelligence, by our own brain, by our own hard work, by our own efforts to expand our brain, get education or something along the line of those possibilities that I mentioned, you could become comfortable to earn salary. You work for somebody, get a job and earn salaries of 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, and it's like, wow. All of that is still comfort. But there is something higher than comfort. You can actually become wealthy can become rich.
Okay. All right.
But at the level of being rich, it's no longer by your own intelligence. It's no longer by your own effort. The best you can get by your own effort, by education, by learning a skill, is comfort. It means that if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be really, really rich, you need more than what you can do for yourself. And that is where the practice of principle comes in. When you practice principle, you are giving. And then the spirit will help you complete the other part of principle is, just like there is law. Again, talking about the default state. The default state is there is law, there are laws, secular laws, government laws, natural laws, universal laws. All right. If you break a law, what happens? If you break a commandment, you suffer the consequence. You are punished. There's always a punishment attached to breaking a law.
Yeah.
So if you break a law, you are punished for breaking the law. So also, above this default state, there are principles. There are principles. And the reverse is the case for principles, such that if you keep a principle, you are rewarded for keeping the principle. So for every principle you keep, you are rewarded. But for every law you break, you are punished. So in keeping principle, it is the reward that comes from the keeping of principle that makes you rich, that makes you wealthy, not necessarily by only your own effort. And then by practice of principle, you can become wealthy. But there's something still higher.
All right.